Hello everyone, I'm the Vibe Kage coming to you with the second whatever of the day. Now, it is time that I do this one. This one that was on the fence about because, I didn't know whether to keep Asta as, magicless and leave Lich becoming, this half-elf, half-devil, anti-magic, sword magic, double-using ability. Excuse me. But instead, no. Excuse me. Damn. As this means, I'm changing a lot of things. So, one, Libe not existing. Asta, who, abandoned at the orphanage, I'm changing as well. What are you doing? So, Asta was not abandoned by the village, but, not abandoned at the village, abandoned at the church. He grew up in the village with his mom, Lichita. And, well, she didn't have that curse that let her absorb magic, so she was able to keep Asta, and Asta was born with unique magic abilities. A unique thing. And he was friends with Yuno. Him and Yuno would be really cool. You see, Yuno would still be the same age as Asta, and, Lichita would still go to church. They would worship their gods. And one thing about Asta that was particular is that his eyes would change. He had 3 different eyes, and, eventually people came to the realization, so it must be some sort of eye magic, right? Yeah, no. So, real quick, Asta's 3 basic eyes are going to be the Sharingan 3 Tomo that evolves into a Mangekyo and Eternal Mangekyo, Rinnegan that evolves into Rene Sharingan, Byakugan that evolves into, Jugan / Tenseigan. That being said, that's what Asta's gonna get, evolutions of evolutions. Now his Rinnegan will change, Purple Ripple, Blue Ripple, Rene Shagan Ripple. That's how the evolution of Rinnegan goes. Byakugan, Tenseigan, Jugan, Sharingan, Mangekyo, Eternal Mangekyo. Stuff like that. But that's Asta's separate thing. A fragment of Lich's soul is actually within Asta. Asta is still, his own person in a sense, still with Lich's soul. And most of Lich's soul is reside within the Grimoire that is, sword magic. Which weird as fuck, right? How does he have eye magic and sword magic? Well, that's gonna be the thing. Let's go back to something, special. And that would be, the whole reincarnation system. As Licht was plundering his soul into darkness at the death of his wife, and his unborn children. Apparently she had twins. So, rather than him, becoming a dark elf devil incarnate, he decides, rather than becoming a demon, he's just going to, redo something. Because, here is, Lumiere and Sacred coming, and they tell him what all had happened, and the devil is just like, no! Leech is just like, hey, bro. I'm gonna do a reincarnation spell. And when I come back, most of me will be inside this grimoire. The part of me that cares about life, whatever he does, he'll do. But my hatred for you, for you humans, and rage towards that devil, hey, that's on him to conquer. What do you mean? As Leech fractures his soul, and reincarnates his soul, part into the grimoire, and then part into Asta. And Asta, he straight up saying he will have eyes that succumb to darkness, eyes that see through, magic, and eyes that domain, both, that harness all power. And, whatever that kid does, we'll go with, because honestly, I failed to see any of this coming. He's coughing up blood. He's holding the corpse of his wife too. So, tears falling down his eyes as the dark wings form around his back. He starts saying some sort of weird forbidden spell, and he grows horns. His soul starts to rip apart and dismantle, flowing into the Grimoire, as then the Grimoire's 5-leaf rips and starts to restructure itself, becoming into a 4-leaf black Grimoire. And then something unique even after that, as then eyes open throughout the Grimoire, changing its colors and causing new patterns, evolving the Grimoire itself, and then disappearing ultimately in front of Licht and Lumiere's eyes. As, Lumiere would seal himself, Sekre still does her own sealing, and the Sagrid, the Kotodama Devil, still does his own stuff with, I'll come back with a better body, reincarnating the elves. Now, keep in mind, Licht does not know about the, reincarnated elves having their own thing. But when shit starts happening like that, hey, we're gonna get to that. But now that we covered that real quick, let's go back to main timeline. As, Asta and Yuno would grow up together, they train, they fight, and here's the thing. I bet you're wondering, does Asta have chakra? Nope. Does Asta shoot fireballs? Nope. Here's the thing. Each eye gives him different abilities, basics. The first thing that we notice is, the red eyes with the 3 tomo. They give Asta the ability to see people's magic, mana, their mana amount, how it flows, and even ways to copy it in a sense. But, hear me out here. There are limits to what he could copy with the mana. You see, if someone, who gathers mana with his hands and then shoots out wind, that's something he could copy. He would just have his mana replicate the sensation of wind and then shoot it out there. If it's someone who's shooting out fireballs or creating fireballs from mana, he would be able to mimic it, yes, but, higher total amount of mana than that said person. But if it's like creation magic, nah. There are limits. Say like Klaus's plant magic. Klaus's steel magic. Asta wouldn't be able to do that. Asta's only trapped to the basics of elemental of fire, water, lightning, earth, wind. Plants, nah. I don't want him to do that with Mimosa. But that's not what's important. That's what he gets from the Sharingan. It's pretty much just elemental mimicry, and then being able to see their movements, and, placing illusions in some cases for some people if they stare into his eyes for too long. Further on, Byakugan. Now this one is unique because, yes, it gives him the ability to see farther into the distance than normal. He gets to see people's magic, but then added benefit in this one is the way Asta can use the magic in his own body, and the way the magic in everyone else's body would work very similar to how a physical contact of how... What was the fucker's name? Not Lars? Was it Lars? The guy who had emissions and absorption. The one who got his body tweaked to be able to absorb people's mana and then shoot it outwards. The one who says, "Million lasers!" I don't remember what his actual name was. Damn. But no, pretty much what Asta can do is hit your point, like mana pressure points, where mana would, be pulled around or have large amounts, restricting the flow of mana within your own body, preventing you from having access to your magic. And then he could also absorb your mana by touching you, because, he just knows how your mana flows. Then he can pump more mana into his body, amplifying him. So reinforcement magic with Asta in this eye, very easy. He can break through your defenses And then he also realizes he can, push out the mana in his own body. And he learned rotation kind of easy. Renegon eyes, the purple ripple eyes. He realized things are really weird too. He could still see how people looked with mana and how their mana flows throughout their whole body. But then, something unique about this one is with how mana acts to his body. Now, with these eyes, these are the eyes that are loved by mana, in a sense. So, if Asta, focuses, almighty push. All mana is pushed away. Universal pull. All mana is pulled towards him. He absorbs all mana, similar to how the Path of Pain could absorb chakra. So, mana attacks when he has his ripple eyes, pretty much just useless because they all get absorbed. Rather than a summoning path, he gets spatial mana in this one. Dojutsu later with the Sharingan Eye, he'll get a more spatial magic, but that's not until later. But Renegon, instantly, ripples, 3 ripples in the sky, portal opens, locations that Asta's been to or Asta's marked with his own mana, he just goes through. Simple as that. And that's kind of how, things have been. Asta, he's... look at that. Asta's been on his own for... Not on his own, but Asta's been practicing on his own, using these techniques really well. Him and Yuno, who've practiced some of Asta's abilities together, not knowing all of Asta's extent, and Asta not knowing all of Yuno's, keeping it nice and fresh for when they both go to the magical night exams. Now, Asta's mom would, still be alive, so she wishes him good luck. All that good stuff would still happen. He gets the blessings from father. Asta would still try and convince Sister Lily to marry him. His mother's the one who kind of has to hit him over Sister Lily. Sister Lily's just like, nervous laughter. And that's how that was. Now, how things go when they go to the capital to get their grimoires. Oh, I forgot about the grimoires. You see, Asta, gets the grimoire that says, I magic. No worries. And it explains, the 3 names of his dojutsus, Sharingan, Byakugan, and Renegon, and then, the magical spells that they gave him. Stuff like that. Simple OP things for Asta. And same with Yuno. They both got 4-leaf grimoires, and everyone was just kind of like, the kids from the boonies? Impossible. They were really pissed off. But, when they try and attack Asta, they get their shit slapped. Who, with Asta, who has, no confidence issues whatsoever, pretty much handle all this shit really well. Asta's has, he reads his grimoire, so he knows what to say and what to do. Asta, flexes, almighty push, your spells are fucking blasted away. Brings them over with wind. Asta's over here with, turning his eyes from the purple ripple to Byakugan. He goes, I magic, Byakugan, air moi! Just launching a massive blast. Blah! He would hit them, I magic, Byakugan, yeah, 8 trigrams, 64 palms, just beating the ever-living shit out of them. Shit like that. Nothing too extreme, nothing too, nice. Nothing too major, just mollywopping them. Now, also gets, some good flexes in with his wind magic, and, well, in this timeline, since Asta, I bet you're wondering, what about the sword? We're getting to that. In this timeline, things are looking good. The royals and the nobles who tried to jump Asta, failed. However, Asta, who currently has the Sharingan eyes open and active right now, it's the one that takes the least amount of, not the least amount, but it's the one that he likes the most. He likes how It doesn't drain him like the Renegon, but its chakra, or in this case, mana usage, isn't as bad as the Byakugan's. I mean, yeah, the Byakugan has, the ability to push, but also likes the whole seeing your mana and then being able to replicate it. He really likes that. He finds that really cool. Now, keep in mind, Asta does train like a motherfucking jackhammer because his mana is based in his eyes, so he has to get close and dodge a lot of shit. So, physically speaking, he's good. So, still the same physical gifted Asta. Only because his mana was in his eyes, but, as time progressed, we saw, oh, there are added benefit than just your eyes having mana. These are the sub-abilities of your eyes having mana. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Kind of like how at first it sounds really dumb for Ghosh's mirror magic, but, the fact that he could teleport through any mirror like Mirror Master, that actually is kind of cool. Making a mirror copy of himself, that actually sounds pretty cool. Those abilities, after a second glance, they're pretty cool. So yeah, same with Asta's eye magic. After a second glance, they're like, whoa, he's using it differently than I thought he would. What are the nerfs? Okay, so, mostly elemental he can copy, and if you're like a specific type of creation, nah, you're good. No steel, no glass, none of that. Charlotte's Briars, meh. I don't know if I want him to copy that because he's still going to get Lich's sword magic, and Lich's swords can still absorb your mana, so that's still going to be a thing. But anyway, let's go back to the guy who's trying to finesse Asta and Yuno's grimoires. So Asta smiles as he looks at Yuno, chuckles. They do their patented fist bump when the chain guy just like stabs through both Asta and Yuno in their stomachs. They both spit out blood. The chain guy slaps them and throws them into the walls as he picks up their grimoires. And he's saying, don't worry, I aim for non-vital spots, but you're both not getting up anytime soon. And he's saying, I don't get it. How the hell do two kids from the fucking boonies get 4-leaf grimoires? What if? Nice. Back to the what if. As, like I was saying, this chain bastard, he's going on and on and on again. But Yuno's, looking pretty bad. And Asta saw it right before his eyes. He's thinking about all of the things that him and, had gone through. All the things that, had happened. Them training together, growing up together in Hodge Village. If dies here, who's going to take care of the kids at the orphanage? He thinks back to everyone there. Let's see, there was father, sister Lily, Nosh, not Rebecca, give me a second. Alright then, I might mispronounce them, but I got them as, Rika, so not Rebecca, but I was close. Rika, Nosh, Aruru, and Holo? Whatever. Asta's just having flashbacks of them, of his mom, and, thinking about all the villagers in Hodge, and how if they both die here, it's over. This isn't how things are supposed to go. He refuses this bullshit as his eye spins, his grimoire snaps off of... I already forgot what the chain guy's name was. Damn. Anyway, the bastard who tried to steal their grimoire, he sees Asta flowing with mana. His eyes are morphing, his grimoire flips, his grimoire darkens. As first, his eye activates a new page in his grimoire. Eye magic. Mangyukyo Sharingan. As then the grimoire flips to a new page as a sword spews out of it as it's saying sword magic. Demon Slayer sword as he grabs the blade. Asta's able to wield it, and keep in mind, Sharingan strength, so some buff. He wields the blade, and, well, it doesn't destroy magic like its counterpart. One thing that is special is, Asta, who has mana running through his eyes, and, well, he can see the power of the sword magic. He sees the power of his eye magic, and then a unique spell is conjured into existence. It flares back as it's saying combination eye magic, sword magic. Hold up. Okay. Eye magic, sword magic combination. Kamichichigiri! So, Divine Thousand Cuts. As Asta swings down the Demon Slayer's sword, an eruption of dark purple flaming magic goes. The devil of Licht is in the shadow of Asta, who just swung down this sword. Chain Guy is just killed permanently because flames of Amaterasu cut him 1,000 times with this sword. Asta's Grimoire and Yuno's Grimoire are safe. He gives the Grimoire back to Yuno, who's in bad shape, gets healed by, some woman who was there, who, she also got her Grimoire right there, and she saw Asta, and, she saw that they were both four-leaf users, and, she was just so surprised, and she's insanely, curious. How do, people from the Forsaken Realm have such powerful magic, both to be blessed by four leaves? This is Mimosa, by the way. As, he wakes up and he does thank her, and here's something that, does out of character, and why not? He compliments her, and, once he sees her green eyes, he compliments her on the pretty green eyes. And Asta here, who's just like, hey, why not? Might as well flex. He's just like, her eyes are the same color as your magic. Who knows? You two might have more in common than you think. As, Mimosa blushes, Asta, I'm just saying this now. He's not as short as his canon self. He's probably just a little bit shorter than like 3 inches shorter than not drastically, but Asta is still, jacked and ripped and muscly. Now, back to the what if. As I was saying, Asta, Mimosa talk a little bit, exchange. Mimosa explains how she's a royal, and, well, because Mimosa wasn't really a snobby person. She's being friendly and nice. And, well, she tells them, magic nights are, during these things, and, see you then. Till then, learn some new spells. Asta, it go easy on us. I hope to, see you again. The two have this nice little awkward smile and silence as, Asta's just going to be hounding, and, yeah, Asta, when he gets home, he goes to his mom, shows him his grimoire, and, well, what surprises everyone is that there's this weird bird that's just been, on top of Asta's head for a while. Who's at Hodge Village, not Hodge Village, well, yes, Hodge Village, but at the church, didn't really, notice, but, this bird kind of went to Asta as soon as they parted ways. So, yeah, Lichita asks, not Naruto, but Asta, why is there a bird on his head? Asta looks at, Nero in her bird form, and, he's just like, I didn't even notice. As, he sticks his hand out, Nero pops in his hand, and, Nero remembers what, Licht said, so she's going to be watching him. As he's saying, wait, aren't these anti-magic birds? Yeah. Asta's just like, and here I thought I had a good amount of magic. As, Lichita asks, so what all does your eye magic have? Sekre, who is just like, I'm not aware of this eye magic, so I must stay close. They go in. Asta explains, eye magic and how his eyes recently added a new spell. And although he doesn't really get it, apparently there was this other magic in his sword. Not in his sword, in his grimoire. Something that activated once his eyes evolved. What do you mean? Asta, he's like, well, I don't need to activate my eyes anymore to draw the sword, but watch. As, the grimoire opens, Asta pulls out the Demon Slayer sword, and it's white like normal, since, Leech's swords were white, not black. It's just that I don't have... No, fuck it. Yeah, let's make them black. Now, while they don't have anti-magic qualities, they do have this dark energy around them. And, well, here's the thing. Asta admits that he can run mana through it like normal, and then just launch a magic slash attack, but this sword is just heavy as shit. Sekre would, from this day on, kind of stay next to Asta. The two, seemingly always together. And here's the thing. Asta does talk to Sekre. And, Sekre weirdly starts to listen to Asta. And, Asta confides in Sekre his dreams whenever he's worried. He tells her about his nightmares. Things that he doesn't tell Asta. Not Asta. Things that he doesn't tell Yuno or his mom. He confides in Sekre as, he straight up tells Sekre, even though most people might just look at her and think she's just some sort of anti-magic bird, my bad, as Asta's just like, but to me, you're more than that. You're Neto. You're my friend. So, Sekre on the inside, she's just like, it's so much like Leech. Just the kindness. It makes her sad. She'll just go on his head. And in this timeline, she doesn't really peck at Asta that much. And Asta's not really stupid. So, yeah. She does just nest on his head a lot. Now, here's where time gets a bit more interesting. You see, we time skip a few months. Now, Franzel Kruger would train not just Asta, but Yuno too, both in wind and sword abilities. Now, Asta learns fast, and his Sharingan eye is very useful. And, well, something unique about Yuno, about his wind magic, is really quick to pick up. Now, while he didn't take the whole wanting to use a conduit for his wind blades or wind swords, he did start to get into the habit of, channeling and focusing his wind into his palm to make his own wind sword. But, focusing on that later. He feels that he's on the cusp of something, but he needs more power that he just cannot control at the moment. Now, we go to their entrance exams. Well, Magic Knight exams. Things go very different. One with broom riding. Asta and Yuno are like legit flying high on the brooms, just both casually standing on the brooms, not really caring about anything. Asta's fucking flexing on most people, like, everyone thought he was about to fall, but nope. He's doing one-arm chin-ups, while his broom is up in the air, and everyone's just like, wait, what? Yami starts laughing because he realizes that the kid is literally flexing and working out on top of everyone. As he's saying, he has such good magical control. Look at how his broom is just so like a steady, solid bar up in the air. And he's just pulling himself up. Yami using ki could sense that Asta's not using mana to enhance his strength. Asta's literally just using his arm, keeping the broom up in the air. It's just like, alley-oop, 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 alley-oop. Everyone would be like, I don't like him. He would then manage to get his feet on the broom and then do the same type of sit-ups that Iroh was doing, where he was hanging upside down, above everyone's head. And, Yami's loving this because he's just like, I want this kid. They're like, what kind of magic does he have? And they're like, Asta, eye magic. Well, that's weird as fuck. They don't know shit. Now, here's where things are gonna get interesting. Now, you see when you have... I was about to say, but no. I forgot his name. Fuck, give me a second. Just a second. Ow. Fuck, hold up. Seke. That's why. Seke Bronza. Now, Seke Bronza gets his shit slapped by, Asta in this one very differently than normal. You see, he would still do his Seke Magna Bronza cannonball, and he still tried to do the whole, be a nice guy to both Asta and Yuno, which they both didn't buy. Excuse me. But when Seke tries to do that, I'm in this for a good living. A good living and not really working hard. Asta's the one who's just like, I'm gonna have to fuck him up. Now, Seke does his iron bronze, body. Asta does something very unique. Something that not even Yuno knew he could do. So, Asta's Grimoire flips a few pages. Asta's left eye changes into the purple Renegon Ripple Eye. And also he's saying eye magic. Left eye Renegon. Eye magic. Right eye Mungdu Q shouting gun. And now keep in mind, this is Obito's pattern right now. Hence why I said right eye. Now, so Asta dashes forward. Seke is just like, man, mana cannonballs, ta-ta-ta-ta. They just are going through Asta's body. Absolutely doing nothing. As, Asta then raises his left hand, as then he's saying this. Eye magic. Renegon. Mana absorption. As all the mana that Seke is now firing through his cannonballs are going into his palm as a little vortex forms around Asta's hand. And soon Seke's iron bronze cannonball of defense is sucked up into Asta's, palm. There's still a few distance as Asta's still rushing towards Seke. As then Asta raises his right hand. Now keep in mind, this one is something that most people are just, in awe of. Now Asta is just gathering pure mana in his right palm. In a similar fashion to how, a character of the name Naruto did. So, a spiraling ball of just pure mana forms in Asta's palm. Asta pulls back as, he's saying, now take this! Spiraling mana bomb! As lands it in Seke's stomach. Seke tried to punch Asta, but Asta would still be phasing right through him. Everyone was still confused when, attacks would phase through him. Not just mana attacks, but physical attacks. He could absorb mana, and then he made a mana sphere bomb, and he just... Seke gets launched into the fucking stadium, gets his shit slapped. And then in Yuno's fight against Salim, things are very different in this timeline because Asta, Yuno, they had training under Franz Kruger, a former Shining General, which would in this case be the equivalent of a captain. So, Yuno, does not mess around in this timeline. No. While Salim launches his lightning blast, Yuno makes a giant wind wall to block it, rushes forward, and hits Salim with pretty much the equivalent of Jin's tornado... Jin's tornado fist from Yu Yu Hakusho. So Yuno's fist was coated with a miniature vortex as he lands a punch in Salim's gut. As, he's saying wind magic. Tornado fist! As then he gets his shit launched out of the ring and into the sky. Spinning out, crashing into the trees as, everyone was just like... So he punched him and then the mana launched out forward. Yami also is just laughing his ass off because he wants this boy to come on his team too. He chooses which ones he likes, and, well, Asta's going to be going to the Black Bulls like normal, and Yuno goes to the Golden Lions. Not Golden Lions, not Crimson Lions, Golden Dawn, my bad. Now, this is where things get fun. Since they're not brothers, but they still have that same rivalry of being, the Wizard King, things are good. And, of course, Asta, you know what? I forgot who was the ship on this. I think I said either Vanessa or Sekre. Oh, nice. Finally, Naruto would have. Hello, go Power Rangers. Yes, like. Yo. Damn, this motherfucker's early. Early gang for y'all fuckers. So, quick shout out to you guys who are here. Shout outing all of you. Okay. So we have shout out to Lucas Bell, Alan Lopez, the boy, Sora Uchiha, Kelly Anderson, Yasmin Pinto. And Yasmin Pinto, you were one who bugs a lot for the Naruto trained by Hokage once. I mostly remember your profile a lot, actually. So don't worry. As Death Claimed by Deku Part 2 is coming. Remember, she has a plan to, convince Deku to have the kids. And, well, yeah. Continue on. Shout out to King Kakarot, Rimuru Tempest, Krillin Brown, Naruto Uzumaki. What's up, Naruto? Kelly Anderson, and GamerSpot. Now, real quick. Now what I was trying to do. Now the baptism for Asta goes kind of like normal. The whole exercising and rivaling thing, but the fight with Magna is very different because, when he brings out his eye magic with Renegon, he just almighty push. Universal pull brings Magna into him, slams Magna into the ground. Luck wants to fight him. Luck fights him. Lightning blast. Not Naruto. Fuck. Asta starts absorbing, Luck's magic. All of his magical attacks. Everyone else is just in awe at what Asta's doing. Other Black Bulls are just, what the fuck? Yami's just like, I know, right? Finral and Gordon are just like, yeah, this guy's a monster. Asta, Licht. Alright, Licht, Asta, reincarnation. Shit. Into it and this. Absolute in Doubt by Little Peeps was playing, which I do love. Sure, why not Vanessa? I already chose Mimosa, Yuno, so. You know what? Why not? Great. I think that would be good. Sorry for Asta Noel shippers. Back to the what if as. Let's see. I got like 10 more minutes. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the what if as Asta. After beating both Luck and Magna, everyone kind of gives him a good amount of respect. Charming was just like, so cool. He gets interrogated on what kind of magic he has. He explains he has eye magic. And all the benefits and, the 3 main eyes he has. And how one eye in particular, after experiencing a certain event, evolved. And then this is where Yami would kind of said, so that's where you first surpass your limits. Good. When you're in this crew, understand that that's going to be a mandatory thing for you. You're going to be going on dangerous missions, and I expect you to surpass your limits. Asta's just like, yes, sir! 3 clover, hand sign, salute to the chest. Just, all around respect. time passes. This is also going to be kind of sad now because he won't have that same instant connection with Henry. But Yami still would tell him about Henry, and Asta would still go to Henry. And while he does feel his mana being drained from Henry when he's close, he does tell Henry that don't worry, you know he gets it, but he will visit him. Even if it drains some of his mana. He points up as he's straight up saying, which I realize Henry and Lichita have the same disease. So if Henry is not related to Asta in some sort of way, I'm gonna be surprised. But at the same time, I could totally see that happening. Henry, like he drains all mana from the life around him. That's what Lichita did. But Lichita wasn't like sick like Henry was. So that being said, I feel like it would be okay. I just checked the poll, and it's Secre. And because it's Secre, I won't do it. Secre is just pretty much, she'll like Deku, not Deku, but Asta. But ultimately, I think I'm gonna do Gray because I don't really see that many Asta Gray ships. So sorry that I even did the poll, but I actually wanted to see, and low-key disappointed. Low-key disappointed that so many people went with Secre. I'm like, okay. Well, anyway, Secre, who's in bird form, will not be, fucking Asta. So Gray, who, is a woman and can turn into various women, that'll work. Anyway, here's weird things, and I do have to go to work, so, oh shit. What a... Actually, no, I do have to go to work. Fuck. I'm gonna just end it now. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. We'll get into, Asta meeting Noelle tomorrow.